that's what's more fun for me.
I spent most of my life as an actor.
The icily calm John Malkovich has established himself as one of the most distinguished and accomplished actors of his generation. Capitalising on his raw intensity, his star shines most brightly when playing manipulative and creepy characters. Yet at the beginning of his career, it was quite the opposite. Growing up, John was that rare breed, a mix of athleticism and artistry. A football player that also flexed his dramatic muscles in stage productions proved that John was an individual from the beginning. In 1976, John joined the now legendary Steppenwolf Theatre Company in Chicago as a charter member. Over the next 6 years, John acted in over 50 plays and helped establish Steppenwolf to become one of the leading theatre companies in America. It was only a matter of time before Malkovich transitioned into feature films. He made a memorable first impression playing a jaded photojournalist covering the atrocities in Cambodia in The Killing Fields, followed by playing a blind boarder in the Depression-era drama Places in the Heart. John can play a variety of roles, but it was his evil and villainous characters that really stood out and propelled him into the mainstream. Malkovich left a chilling impression in the popcorn cinema community after being cast as the genius serial killer Cyrus the Virus Grissom in the action blockbuster Con Air. His character was the mastermind behind the jailbird's high-altitude escape attempt, which in fact mimicked real life, as half of the prisoner characters weren't actually played by actors.
I mean, I compared it to having my own sort of pack of kind of unhappy pet gorillas in a way. Yeah, they're the sort of dregs de la dregs, I think. But of course, that's great fun in a way, working with all these guys, and half of them, I mean, there are a few actors in it, but most of them are not people you'd want to know really very much. And all the rest of the cast are either, you know, boxers or ex-cons who were boxers, or hockey enforcers, or, you know, professional football players. I mean, it's quite a funny group.
At this stage, Malkovich still preferred the stage, often criticising the disjointed nature of filmmaking for compromising his performances. Feeling the discomfort in the industry, John settled his family away from Hollywood in the south of France. This was convenient because his next film, The Man in the Iron Mask, was filmed there. Back with a new group of lads, John loved all the action this period adventure film served up.
Part of the fun of doing films like this is, you know, sort of boys' own story aspects. I mean, swordplay and horses and fights and etc. Which I like doing, in which, as I say, if you're sort of stuck in art films all the time, you don't get to do very much of that. Still get to do your own sewing.
And that DIY attitude led to the rare opportunity to play himself in Being John Malkovich. This surreal dark comedy is about a puppeteer who stumbles upon a portal that leads to the inside of John's head, enabling whoever ventures inside not only control of Malkovich's body, but a taste of 15 minutes of fame. His performance never strayed into parody and balanced on the fine line of humour and philosophical symbolism. By now, John was a reputable stage actor, worldwide film star, and had played a feature-length cameo of himself. The next trick up his sleeve was directing. Eager to start calling the shots, John jumped behind the camera and used his outside voice for his directorial debut, The Dancer Upstairs.
I wanted the actors that I wanted, because I think to direct a movie, why do something you don't want to do? I mean, as an actor, you're constantly doing things that somebody else wants you to do, which you may or may not agree with. But that's the job definition, and generally I do it. But when you direct, I mean, then it's really up to you, and you have to do what you want to do, and that can be right or wrong, good or bad, brilliant or abysmal or anything in between. That really doesn't matter, but it should be what you want to do.
Looking at John's movie choices, it's clear that he pursues projects with a level of substance and introspective themes, something which in this era of film is difficult to find in the mainstream. John threw a lot of weight behind The Dancer Upstairs, producing and directing it. So does he believe there's an audience out there for these types of films?
There's an audience for things that aren't so kind of knee-jerk, retarded, stuff down our throats. There is an audience for something reflective and contemplative, provided that things that are reflective or contemplative compel us. People don't like to be bored, and I don't think there's anything boring in this movie. They don't like to be bored, and I agree with them. But if you want the sort of luxury or if you have pretensions to want to do a film that is reflective or is contemplative or is thoughtful, then your duty to compel people to watch it is multiplied.
It's this sort of concise logic that makes John Malkovich such an interesting character off-screen as well. He is highly respected by his peers and is known for his fierce intelligence. Co-star Angelina Jolie expressed her admiration for John on the set of the gripping drama Changeling.
John's always one of those actors I think I've always respected him. I've always felt he's just one of the, he's one of those real artists. He's a great artist and he knows his craft. But you don't know John. John's one of those odd ones. You think, I wonder if he's normal. I wonder if he's... And it's been so nice to get to know him because he is just a pleasure. He is a very, very intelligent, very, very kind man, but very intelligent.
Part of the appeal of John is the fact he can go from starring in big-budget films with A-list actors to roughing it in an indie film with a relatively unknown cast. Top-lining his art film releases is Disgrace. Based in South Africa, Malkovich plays a college professor entangled in the apartheid. So what is it that entices John to work in these indies? Yes, it's the answer you wanted: his interest in the story and the quality of the script.
Coetzee is a terrific writer, and I knew very well, and I'd read 2 or 3 times because a friend of mine has been trying to make a film of his book, Waiting for the Barbarian. So he was a writer I knew, and I think he's a really fine writer, and it told a sort of quite grim but interesting story. But I don't, you can't necessarily choose things by whether people will like you or not, because that sort of depends on which people.
Disgrace was shot on location in South Africa, but used an all-Australian film crew. So how did John find working with his colleagues from Down Under?
The Australian crew has been great, terrific, very capable, very good, a lot of fun. I've won a lot of money on bets, and that's always, they might be slightly compulsive about gambling.
Another punt that paid off for John was joining the very experienced cast of the box office hit Red. Teaming up with Bruce Willis, Helen Mirren and Morgan Freeman, these Hollywood veterans acted as retired CIA agents, struggling to cope with the boredom of their golden years. With all these actors far from retirement, how did John enjoy working with some of his favourite peers?
It's incredible to get to work with people. Your best partner or partners are always going to be people that you like watching. These are all performers I've always enjoyed watching, and to see them kind of in one room or their scenes with just about all of us together, I loved it. So
one of the most commercial films John has ever worked on was the 3rd instalment of the Transformers series, Transformers: Dark of the Moon. It's fair to say Malkovich would seem a bit out of place in a Michael Bay film. But how did this thinking man's actor end up standing next to Optimus Prime?
I was excited to be part of Transformers because I was shooting. I first kind of got involved or was approached to become involved by Lorenzo Di Bonaventura and Mark Varadian, who I was working with on a film called Red at the time. And I really liked them enormously, and they approached me about doing this. And then they gave me the first 2 films, which of course I hadn't seen because I don't really see anything, and because I'm always working. And which I enjoyed, especially the first one. I really liked. And then they got me the script, which I liked. I liked the character. I had a couple of long talks with Michael Bay about kind of where we wanted to go to see, you know, are we on the same page, or are you okay with this? Do you like this idea? Don't like this idea, etc. And then it was, to me, it was like a vacation.
Only the nonchalant John Malkovich could compare the bustling Transformers set to that of a vacation. Now, for a man who has played countless characters across his impressive career, off-screen he has remained remarkably true to himself. And it's this authenticity that he has taken to his past performances, and I'm sure will continue to do so into the future. Stay tuned to Starfix for all the movies you know and the actors you love. Broadcast in high definition with 5.1 surround sound where available. For more of the best in entertainment news, check out your Movie Network channels. Find or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and MNC.TV.